I've got a quick question for you. Would you pay £2,000 for an extra 20 centimetres, which is, well, it's about that much? Would you? Because that's exactly what Peugeot is expecting us to do with its new 5008, because it starts from £24,000, whereas the slightly smaller 3008 starts from £22,000.
Obviously, you do get more with a 5008. There's more space inside, there's more room to carry stuff, and, most importantly, there's 2 more seats. In every other way, though, it's identical to its smaller brother.
Now, if you want more detail on the 3008, then just click up there to watch my full in-depth video review of it. And one of the standout features of the 3008 and this 5008 is the interior design. I mean, in this class, there is nothing to match it for style nor quality. I mean, it not only looks great, it feels great as well.
All cars get an easy-to-use infotainment touchscreen with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay as standard. Plus, there's a 12-inch digital driver's display on every single model, while all but the entry-level car gets satellite navigation.
In-car storage is pretty decent, so you've got large door bins all round, and there's some extra storage space, look, underneath here. There we go. And if I just pop into the front, as well as your usual front door bins and glove box, there's decent storage here in front of the gear lever. You've got some cup holders here, and if I just pop this open, there's plenty of space under there as well.
The 5008 gets the same engines as the 3008, but the sweet little 1.2 turbo petrol may struggle with a fully loaded 7-seater, so one of the punchy 1.6 or 2-litre diesel engines will be a better choice.
Now, just like the 3008, you've got this sporty little steering wheel, which is a little bit confusing in a car such as this, because it does make you drive it a little bit faster than you should. And one thing about this car is the initial turning from the steering seems very, very sharp for a 7-seater. You're going to have all your passengers feeling a little bit sick.
On the whole, the 5008 handles pretty well for a big car, though being slightly longer means it's not quite so agile as the 3008, though this doesn't really matter.
That extra length in the wheelbase does seem to improve the ride somewhat. It's quite impressive over bumps, actually.
In fact, you can thank the jacked-up off-roader suspension for the impressive comfort. However, just like the 3008, the 5008 is a bit of a fraud. It's not actually a 4x4, it's front-wheel drive only, but most bars won't be able to tell.
The only thing that really sticks out for me, I don't know whether it's psychological, occasionally you glance in the rearview mirror and you notice that back window is a lot further away. And yeah, you're jacked up, so it's got that SUV feeling, but it does feel a bit more like an MPV. Another thing about having the window so far back is that rear visibility isn't quite so good. So it's a good job this car comes as standard with parking sensors.
Equipment levels are very impressive, as is the safety kit. All cars come with stuff like auto emergency braking and speed sign recognition.
So now we come to the main differences between the 5008 and 3008. So the extra 20 centimetres is actually between the front and rear wheels. That means more cabin space. And if you look down here, I've got absolutely loads of knee room. Also, the 5008 has individual seats here in the middle row. So I've got 1, 2 and 3. They also slide independently and recline independently. The seats don't do that in the 3008. I've got some picnic tables here. The only problem is they're not that sturdy, not compared to those in a Volkswagen Tiguan. Bit too much pressure. And yeah, your food will be flopping onto the floor. You do get some blinds though, which is handy if you want to carry children in the back and keep the sun off them. However, have you noticed the major problem with this car? Yeah? Look, headroom. It's really, really tight. Admittedly, this car does have the optional panoramic sunroof. I've got the blind covering it at the moment because there's too much sun coming in. But, you know, I tested a 3008 with the sunroof and it had more headroom than this. I can recline the chair slightly, but even then, you know, there's hardly any headroom, which is just odd for this kind of car. I mean, it's a real oversight by Peugeot.
So, if the middle row is compromised, how about the third row? After all, that's why you'd buy the 5008 over the 3008.
Now, getting into the very back is pretty easy. So the doors open nice and wide and the seats slide out of the way like that. I'm going to leave that one there because I want to show you something. If you look, you'll see with these seats as far back as they can go, there's no leg room. But if I just slide it forward a touch, with still enough leg room for the people in the middle row, then I've got sufficient leg room. It's actually all right back here. And this is the thing to note. Look, I'm sitting up straight and I've got enough headroom. I can fit my hand in between my head and the roof. So it's actually better in this back row than in the middle row, which is just insane. And I think, you know, for an SUV rather than an MPV, this third row of seats is pretty impressive.
The seating mechanism is very similar to that on the old 5008, which was an MPV people carrier, and folding them away is more of a palaver than in something like a Volkswagen Touran, as there's various flaps to faff about with to create a flat load floor.
Now there are some cool features which I really do like. For instance, the load cover, it's dead easy to remove and it's nice and light. Plus you can put it in a secondary position. So if I just slot it into place here, I can then, when I fold the seats up, let me just get that out of the way, you'll see there's somewhere to store it. That's really nice. Now I just want to put this seat back down again. There we go. Get the upholstery shelf out of the way, because the other cool feature I like is this. So if I fold this out of the way and just lift this up, no, wait a minute, look, that came off. You wouldn't have that kind of thing happening on a German car, I don't think. Anyway, let's just pop that back, pretend it didn't happen, because I do like this. Look, the rearmost seats, they are removable, and unlike with MPVs of old, they're actually reasonably light. They weigh about 10 kilos, so I can use it for a bit of a workout mid-review. Bit of lateral raises, but that's not the real reason you want to remove the seats. You want to remove them because it gives you some extra space under here. And you could use that to carry your Peugeot e-kick scooter, or maybe even their new e-bicycle. Now, if you want some more information on those two items, you can see me review them in a separate video, which you'll be able to click on at the end of this video.
Speaking of which, the 5008 looks just as futuristic as the 3008, from the front and from the back.
But from other angles, such as this one, this one, and this one, those extra 20 centimetres just make the 5008 seem a little bit more ungainly.
And that brings us back to the original question. Is the extra length worth the extra cash?
Well, I don't think so. And the main reason for that is the compromised headroom in that middle row of seats. I think it's actually to do with the seat design, because it is better in the 3008. And as a result, I think there are better cars for carrying 7 people than this. Admittedly, they're not so stylish. And this is actually a really good value car when you consider it starts from £24,000. But if you click up there to go to carwow.co.uk, you can see what offers you can get on a new Peugeot.
Overall then, the 5008 may not be the most practical 7-seater, but it's one of the most interesting. And for image-conscious buyers, that will matter just as much. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, share it and subscribe to our channel. And click on the video windows to watch my review of the Skoda Kodiaq and Peugeot's electric scooter and bike.